Hey everyone, it's Desiree. I am here with, had to look at it, day 4 of the 2019 Christmas series. And for this one, I pulled this from my stash. Loved the sentiments, and I know I remember pulling this one only because I remember the card that I did for 2018, and I laughed the entire way through it. It had to have been the quickest card out of the series. And if you remember it, I just used this sentiment, and from that end of the Y, I added a bell. That was it. It was awesome. And amazingly, well, not amazingly, it was one of my favorites. It was the top 2. It was in the top 2 of my favorites. So we're going to do a little bit more than that one, but I am, for this one, as I said, I'm focusing on Honeybee. We're going to do some Distress Oxide blending. I know, with a tool that almost has become archaic now, but I still do love the mini blenders. And we are going to use some embossing powders. I've grabbed my Recollection Silver and my Simon Says Stamp Fine Detail White. I'm going to use my Versamark ink, of course. I've got my Bristol paper. I do like to use Bristol paper for my blending of my oxides. And I do have a piece of pearlescent cardstock. This is by Recollections. It's got this beautiful pearlescent to it, but it's like a gold tint. It's like a, I don't know what it is. It's got a gold tint to it. And for that, I'm going to use some Hill Side Dies by Lawn Fawn. So let's get started. And the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to do my background. Now, this is going to be a different size card. Let me move that out of my way too. Different size card. The design part, the part that I'm adding my Distress Oxide to my blended background and what I'm going to stamp on, that is going to be cut, once I'm done all this, 4 by 6. So this is actually going to end up being a 5 by 7 card base. So a little bit bigger for this type of card. But let's start with the oxide background. I've chosen Tumbled Glass, Broken China, and Chipped Sapphire. Usually add some black soot around the edge, but I'm just going to stick with the Chipped Sapphire. I don't want to go too dark or anything like that. So let's do that first. Okay, sorry for that break, but something was going off in the background and it was driving me crazy. All right, so I'm going to start off with my Tumbled Glass. So I'm going to use my lightest color as the highlight. The hills are going to come down here. So, and again, this is actually, I need to cut this down now. So we're going to cut off a 1/2 inch from this. And then this should already be, and it is. So I want this arch to actually come in through here with my lightest shade. So I'm going to start with that first. And I'm just going to come in and make sure I've got a nice dark coating of that. I'm going to come in with my next one. I always keep, it's almost like I keep going back and forth when I blend. So, and I should have a scrap piece of paper here somewhere. And just made lots of noises. So now I'm going to come in around the outside with the Broken China. And now I'm going to come back in with the Tumbled Glass again. And that's what's going to blend out that line, if you can see that. All right, that's what actually makes that move just a little bit. But I am going to come in with some more Broken China on top just to get that a little darker. And I'm actually now going to use the Broken China to blend that out. So now you can see I've got this somewhat of a highlight going on. Now I shouldn't need my tumbled glass. But now I'm going to come in with my chipped sapphire. And this is going to kind of take over just a little bit. And I'm just going to keep going in circles, and I'm going to really use this to actually blend down through my pieces. But I want to make sure that this is dark. So now I'm going to come in, hopefully, and now just really blend this out over the broken china, over the tumbled glass. Because I want it to resemble a night sky. Now I'm just going to keep on bringing it in. So you can see I still have that highlight area, but this has just come around and I have the darkest at the edges. Now, what I'm probably going to do here, actually, is I think I am going to bring in my black soot, because I really, really do want this to be a night sky. All right, so let me grab my black soot. When you think you're prepared, you're not. All right, now I need one of these. And I need to find my topper for this. Which, who knew that I can't find it? Oh my goodness, guys. All right, hang on, I'll be right back. And we're back. Yeah, I'm glad I stopped. It took me a while. All right, so now I'm just gonna come across the edge, and I'm gonna actually start off my paper, and I'm going to come onto the edge. The corners I'm gonna come in a little bit further, but these outer edges and the top, I'm gonna come in a little bit more. Now I'm not gonna do what I did with the chipped sapphire, where I came over everything when it comes to the black soot. I'm gonna stay on the edges just a little bit. And then I'm gonna come in with my chipped sapphire again to blend that out. So I'll start at that edge just to make sure that's blended. And you can see I've got that blend. And now I'm gonna lightly go over that edge that's created, just so I don't lose the highlight that I have. You really want to keep that highlight, but I also don't want the lines either. So that is what our background looks like. Okay, so now I'm going to put those away. Hopefully I put the correct lids on everything. Okay. Now I'm just going to let this dry, and The reason why I really want that to dry is because I'm going to be heat embossing on top of this. So I am going to use my heated tool, and what's nice about this tool honestly is it's not loud. So it's a light sound, but I will be right back once this is dry. Okay, I think this is dry. I don't know though. We'll find out because we will test before we do anything, which is what we're going to do now. So I'm going to grab my pouch. I'm going to cover this with lots of powder. And I don't want to, I like to pounce on the powder. And the reason why I do that is because I don't want the ink to get on the pouch. I've ruined other pouches that way. And I didn't want to do that this time. So let's see. The edges are still kind of touchy. So let's see. Because there is a lot on there. Don't worry, I'll be able to get all the powder off. But let me get it off my table right now. Let's see. And I think we are set to go. If not, we're going to let it go. Right? Right. All right, so let's do our stamping. Now I am going to pull out my, now I have powder all over my fingers. I am going to pull out my stamp positioning tool. And I'm going to put this in here. Oh, thank goodness it fits. Now, what I want to do is I want to take the sentiment, and I actually want to get that position. Okay, loud noise. There we go. I want to get that positioned first. I actually want that to go off to the side. So we're going to put that there. And then I want to make sure, so I've already die cut my hills. So I just want to make sure that where I'm positioning this, it's going to be able to still be read. I know part of it will be covered, but I'm okay with that. Again, I am, wow, everything sticks to my fingers. I'm not a matchy-matchy, if that's what I want to call it. I'm okay if something isn't matching correctly, if that makes sense. Yeah, I kind of like that. All right. So I want that there. Now this I'm going to stamp. I want this to be in white. So I'm going to put that down. Get the Mahumba of the magnet in place. I'm going to use my Versamark ink, but use, you know, again, there's lots of clear inks out there. You have your Versamark, you have your Simon Says, Nuvo has one. I'm going to make sure that this gets back to where it's supposed to be, because I do like to stamp twice. Okay. And now I'm going to pull in my Simon Says Fine Detail White. And just cover this. And I'm okay, there's like some specks that are actually going around. I don't know if you can see those little tiny specks. I'm okay with that because we're gonna do all kinds of splattering and drawing and creating other little snow thingies. So we're good. All right, I'll be right back. I am going to heat set this using this, and I'm going to let it heat up first. See you soon. And there we go. We've got our sentiment on there. And as I said, we've got a little bit of specks in there, but that's totally okay. All right, so we're going to do more stamping, and I think I'm going to be okay to use an acrylic block. Well, we're going to make it okay. Let's put it that way. All right, so I want to use these dangles. And I'm going to just stamp those along the top. So I'm going to put this one up top. And then I want to come in, and you know, I'm going to add my embossing. And for these, I want to add the silver. Again, just a different color. So I know where that one is placed. So now I want to come in with a long dangle. And I actually want this one to come down, so we are going to make sure, this should be fun, make sure this one comes down. And then I'm going to flip and pray I'm in line. And I don't know how I'm going to see that, but I'm going to guess here. And if not, we will find a way to fix it. Because remember, everything we do, we can fix. I'm going to grab the third one. And I'm going to put that one right here. And we can't forget about, we've got all these individual snowflakes, so of course we are going to have fun with those. I'm going to add one of those there. I'm going to add one of those there. 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 I'm going right over that connection because I don't know if it's straight. There. And there. So let's see what that looks like. And I think that's all I need on that. Be right back. And we're back. And that's how that looks. So you can see I was off in that connection, which is fine. I probably should have put the snowflake up further, and then that would have covered that up a little bit better. But other than that, it looks good. We're going to let this cool down before I bring in a cloth. So I always use my microfiber cloths to wipe off the embossing powder for the excess, and this has a lot of excess. And there you go. It's all back to normal. All right, so now, let me clean off my table here. No matter what I do, I get embossing powder everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to put, I want to angle this actually. And I'm going to put that there. So let me glue that down. I'm going to use my, ow, I just stabbed myself. I'm going to use my art glitter glue. And obviously I've got a clog going on in that. And I'm going to put that right there. Now I'll cut the excess off of this panel. I just need to find the clog here. And I think we got it. And you can see, oh my, okay, I'm back. Sorry, but you know, I just literally stabbed myself with a pin. So we know what happens when we stab ourselves. We get all kinds of things that should not be shown on video. So I had to real quick clean that up. So sorry, guys. All right, so for this one, I'm going to add, I want to add some foam squares. So just to give this some added dimension. So we're just going to add these throughout. And again, I know that I'll be trimming this one. We're trimming both of them actually, which is okay. All right. And let's see here, just these last few. All right, now, okay, we'll be able to cover up that spot that we will not mention. All right. So those are our hills, and now we just need to trim. And to trim this, I'm actually going to use my Fun Stamper's Journey Grand Pro shears. And then I'll come up the side and trim that bottom off just a little bit. Okay. So that is our panel. I'm now going to take this, excuse me, and of course, you know, can't find anything. It's amazing. All right, and I'm going to adhere this onto a piece of mirrored cardstock, and I'm going to use my tape runner. And again, I am just using my tape runners up. I have found I'm really not a tape runner person. For mass production cards, they are great, but I'm always grabbing for a liquid adhesive, and I'm going to try with one hand to put that in there. There we go. And now I'm going to use some foam tape, double-sided foam tape, and I'm going to put that on the back of this. Now this double-sided foam tape I get from Uline. It's a great price. It's at a wonderful price point, actually. What I do struggle with, though, and if you're okay to struggle with it, I encourage you to go to Uline and look at their double-sided foam tapes, is the release paper is not easy to release. I usually pull in a craft pick to get the release paper off. They have the widths in 2 different sizes. I do like the thinner one when it comes to that. And I do not use this for shaker cards. No, this stuff is extremely strong, unforgiving, strong, awesome, won't come apart. But for shaker cards, it's really tough to sometimes double it up. And again, it's just me. So you can see if I try to, I could sit here forever trying to separate this, and you can see it just doesn't. So this is where I come in with my pokey tool. Here's my card base, and I'm using black. And I come in on the side, I push down on the foam, and I can grab a hold of the release paper and I pull. So that's how I make this work. And then I just make sure I clean the end of my craft pick after I do this, because it will get gummed up. But again, this is how I make it work. When it comes to my shaker cards, I will always use the Scotch 3M double-sided foam tape. It's wonderful. It works best, and it doesn't fight too much with me. So hopefully I'm going to go straight down on this. I like to curve the card just a little bit, and I just keep looking as I slowly bring it down, because once it touches the cardstock, she's in there forever. So I use the black. This helps, I guess for me, it helps to pull it out. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stamp a few of the snowflakes down in the corner. And I'm going to use my silver and white for that. So we've got that one. All right, those I want silver. Yep, I almost lost that container. Yep. And now I'm going to come in with some white. And I'm actually okay if they mix. I think that looks really, really pretty. And there you go. Just something a little bit for the inside to carry that through. So that is our card for day 4 of the 2019 Christmas series. I hope you enjoyed it. Use what's in your stash. I'm sure you may have some other types of snowflakes. You may have some other sentiments. You don't need a die. You can just cut that shape out to create a similar version of this card. So again, this is featuring honeybee stamps and their Jingle All the Way stamp set. I will have all of the products that I used in today's card listed down below in the video description. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those down below as well, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you're enjoying the series so far, and I'll keep asking that every time I post a video, I'm sure. If you haven't subscribed, please, I'd love for you to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so that you know when the next video goes live, and also hit the thumbs up. Again, thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying your day. I hope this helps you to get ready for the holidays, but most of all, remember what's most important for me. Always be creative. Till next time.